practical steps can they take to better their situation?
Thank you for that opportunity to answer a question. Normally, I'm the one asking the question. As we have indicated earlier, that abuse in this circumstance, it could be the wife abusing the husband financially, or the husband abusing the wife financially. And like now we know there are also house husbands. Things have changed. Sometimes it's the wife working and the husband is at home, and probably he needs to get the allowances from the wife. So I would suggest for assertive communication. You know, sometimes abuse happens because there isn't like communication, effective communication. I can just take an example of someone, like you gave an example of your aunt. Maybe someone who grew in that family and they saw mommy's money, all of it, the salary being taken by daddy. And maybe to them, it was normal. Or maybe they saw mommy asking for every cent from daddy. You know, when you're growing up, things were a bit different. And to them, that's how they thought, maybe they liked it when mommy had to ask for every cent from daddy. So when you get married, you're not getting married to someone who has the same background with you. So if that person, the other person is not happy with that scenario where they have to ask for money, sometimes communication will actually help. Because sometimes your partner doesn't know that you're not okay with whatever they are doing. So you need to make them understand that you prefer maybe where you're given an allowance or you're allocated some money, maybe for dailies, then you buy so that you have at least some form of freedom. So if you don't communicate, someone may be thinking you're okay with it. So you need to communicate your preferable way of managing the finances. And I think in one of our sessions, we also discussed having a miscellaneous section in your budget. That miscellaneous section where you agree as partners that maybe we give you 1,000 rands for your own use. And with that 1,000 rands, you don't have to report or ask. Like for women, maybe you want money for your hair, for your manicure, for your pedicure, or maybe you just want, when you get to a mall, if you find a nice dress, you just buy without having to call your husband that and ask for money. So that also helps if you have a miscellaneous amount where the husband has this miscellaneous amount, because maybe also the husband also has his own needs, which he might not necessarily have to call the wife and ask for permission to use. So that also helps. And setting boundaries. Sometimes you need to set boundaries in your communication. But setting boundaries only works when you know that something is wrong. So it comes back again to communication. When there's communication and maybe you've communicated that you're not happy with the way the finances are being run, you feel controlled. And if someone keeps on doing, then you have to set boundaries where one has to respect that you're an individual, you're entitled to that freedom, where at least you don't have, it can be quite hectic to be asking for money every day, especially for small things like bread, milk, and you know, especially as women, sometimes you're walking in the mall, you see cover bed, or and you're the one who knows that maybe the bedding is needs to be updated. So sometimes to be calling your husband to say, oh, I'm at the shop, I want to buy a duvet or whatever, it may be hectic. So you can buy, as long as it's within the miscellaneous budget. Then the husband must understand that sometimes the wife is not buying things out of irresponsibility, but they're buying because there's needs. And some things, it's a woman who knows, especially if she's the one who runs the household. the everyday thing. So you need to set boundaries, especially if someone continues and have raised an issue. If you also need to be financially literate, like in this day, there's so much information about being financially illiterate. Sometimes being abused is because you're not just financially illiterate. You just don't know. We have been talking a lot on this in these sessions about investments, about saving, about emergency accounts. I know one of the speakers said you can't have an account that your partner doesn't know. But maybe I heard of a speaker last week who was saying they had different approaches to managing finances. His wife is a saver, like a real saver, and he's a spender. And one thing that the wife did was to take some money and save on the side. There was a time when he really needed money, and they were there, and the wife said, I've got some money somewhere, which I saved for you. And when he saw the amount that the woman had saved on the side, he really appreciated, because it was a large amount. So I think the having a side account, if your partner is irresponsible with money or is not a good saver, is the transparency, because this woman was not hiding the money to use it for personal use, but they were hiding the money for the good of the family. So it still comes back to transparency. And you can only invest when you know how. And with these days, you can go on YouTube, you can read books. There's so many books there. We have been talking about investments on this page. You can even visit our YouTube account and go through all the sessions we have gone through, and you work on yourself. And investment, you don't have to start with $1 million. You can start with how much, maybe with your miscellaneous amount that you get. Instead, maybe if you know that you have challenges with finances, instead of using the whole 1,000, you can spare 500. You invest that 500, you use 1,000 for your manicure, pedicure, and maybe manage the hairstyle that you have, because you know you've got an issue. So there's so much information out there that you cannot afford to be financially illiterate in this day. It's just you committing to developing yourself, to growing, and to improving yourself. And you, as I said earlier, maybe your partner is being abusive, probably because of just ignorance. So when he knows that you are illiterate, they may actually respect that. So, and another way is to consult a financial expert for help, for assistance. If you see maybe you want to be financially literate and you feel you're being controlled financially, you can approach a financial expert who can help you or manage your finances and how to maneuver around without you maybe controlling the other partner. And maybe when you are literate and you've been helped by the financial expert, it actually helps your partner maybe to also go along with you and meet the financial expert. Then you grow together, then you change. So some of these issues of financial abuse actually happens because maybe you're not working on it and finding ways to maneuver it around. So another way is also to look at yourself. You know, sometimes when you start a relationship, maybe someone is so trusting, they've given you an account, the money is there, then you don't use it wisely. So sometimes you also need to look at yourself as a partner, that what happened, that is if you started well and there was transparency in your relationship and you were trusted with the finances and there was no control. Then if someone changes and they start controlling, you need to also look what happened, what changed, and how can I improve on it, instead of just accusing the other person of being controlling, and which also goes back to communication. Sometimes when you're checking your why, when you're looking at yourself, the why, you also need to understand where the partner is coming from. So you can communicate and find out why and what changed and how can it be resolved. And also, with the financial expert, they can also help you manage your financial habits. That is, maybe if you lost it at some point, you were trusted with finances, then somebody changed and they're now controlling the finances. You may want to be helped with the financial habits, how you can change, how you can improve. People acknowledge change. When you change, if the person is just is a good person, they will notice the change, and they'll probably also change for the better of the relationship. You can also start a business. You've been being encouraged here to start a business, and starting a business doesn't mean you need to start big. You can start small and you grow. Then you start also generating some finances. Maybe those small things they've been complaining about, that it doesn't give you money for manicure, pedicure, buying your own clothes, or investing. If you start your business and you get some money, sometimes you may actually realize that the partner, I've heard many people say, especially women, where the husband says, okay, your money, this small money that you're getting from your business, it's yours. We can just use my money. That is if the relationship is working. But you can start your own business, your side hustle, where you can use that money instead of asking for money for bread, for milk, for small things. You start using that money from your business. That hopefully there will be profit. So yeah, I'll stop there for now.
You've said quite a lot there, Tafadzo. But I think very significant points that you have highlighted. You've spoken about assertive communication, setting boundaries, educating yourself on finances. In addition to what you have said, just to add 1 or 2 points, I think it's very important if you're experiencing financial abuse to get help, get support and get help. And it would be great if you as a couple can actually get help. Tafadzo, in this week, we got to know that there are actually specialists called marriage recovery specialists. These are people that assist people when they go through tough challenges in their marriage or in their relationships. I think the one point that we want to highlight there is that financial abuse is a no. And couples should get help if that is happening. And, the one partner can actually draw a line and say, look, this is not acceptable. So get help. There have been instances where the abuse has escalated and where one couple has actually used the other couple's personal information to get more debt. So in those instances where the abuse has escalated to, extreme levels, it becomes very important to protect your personal information. It becomes important to regularly access your credit reports